Madam Speaker, I thank the member for Fanny Bay, from whom I always get a lesson about listening more and speaking less. It's been humbling today to listen to everything that everyone has had to say. I hadn't planned on saying anything in particular. I have no prepared notes, so we'll see how this goes. I have no specific nexus to this issue or to the stolen generations, and I don't want to speak for anybody else. I had the privilege, I guess, though, of being in Canberra on the day when that apology was given. And I remember it being a very emotionally charged time and issue. I remember people, having a range of opinions about whether an apology should be issued, what it meant, what it didn't mean, who had the authority to speak on any of the issues. We all have a right to speak in this place on all of these issues, and I am grateful for the diversity of voices that I've heard tonight, and I don't wish to speak for anyone else. I will say that I recall very clearly the Honourable Dr. Brendan Nelson, who was under extraordinary pressure at the time to not support the apology, and I think it was one of the more stellar moments of his leadership that he was able to bring together a coalition of the willing to be able to join forces and provide a unified position, a dignified position, a respectful position, and try and move things forward. I can honestly say, hand on heart, for what it's worth, that I am proud to be part of the government, and I believe in the sincerity of all of my colleagues on this side of the chamber. I believe in their commitment to want to make things better for all Territorians and Indigenous Territorians. Indigenous disadvantage does begin with education. People who have represented electorates out in the bush and have a deep and abiding connection to Indigenous communities, I think are entitled to vent frustration at the fact that in the last 17 years we haven't managed to progress a range of things that we aspired to in that national apology. And I don't have any specific answers. I'm grateful that we had the opportunity to hear from everyone today, though, on these issues. It's only by having open and respectful discussions that we will be able to move the agenda forward. I did not know the member for Daly until really last December, when we were both forced to be at the Scrutiny of Legislation conference in Victoria briefly. And I got to know him a little bit as a human being, and he's not a bad bloke. And I'd like to hear your granddad's story at some point. Anyway, I think it's great that everybody was able to make a contribution today and recognise the anniversary of the apology.
If there's no other speakers, I would like to pay my respects to the stolen generation of the Northern Territory on this 17th anniversary of the National Apology. I'd like to acknowledge the pain and suffering that they've experienced, and I wish them peace, love and kindness going forward. And I too would have loved to have heard the story of your grandparents, Member for Daly, because I think they come from a part of the world that I know very well at the top of the Clarence River. So maybe we can have a cup of tea one day and you can tell me the story. On that note, Madam, should we adjourn?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I move that the Assembly do now adjourn.